Many sectors are growing and letting people go at the same time. They are mid-career, senior level folks. It's not just about your skills, your experience, but the networks. Because right now, 80% of jobs are landed through networking. Is AI stealing jobs? There is a great reshuffle. How do we beat the younger folks at the AI game? The answer is straightforward.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Epic Podcast. And in this season of How to Build a Better Business, in this episode, we are here to talk about how the hiring game is changing. So leaders, listen up. We're diving into the job market landscape, which skills are actually relevant today, and how leaders can cut through the AI noise to find the right talent. Today, my guest is a highly sought after career mentor and coach. You've heard him on radio, listened to his podcast, and probably read his book as well. He's the career strategist, Adrian Choo. Adrian, welcome to the podcast.
Good morning. So happy to be here today.
This season of the podcast is really about how to build a better business, and hiring is always an issue. I've spoken to quite a number of leaders, and they always tell me the same thing. I cannot find the right hires, or it takes me a long time to find the right people. I think it's also partly a traditional mindset. You and I have talked about this on many occasions. Yes. So many times CVs are badly written. We have to go through hundreds of them, and all of them look the same. So we're going to unpack this. So let's start off with the job market as it is today. Which industries are seeing lots of growth and which ones are actually kind of slowing down? Which
is really interesting because when you ask a question like that, it's quite loaded for many people, because the industries that are hiring, for example, logistics, definitely there's demand there for people. You got logistics, the banking, certain sectors, including the high net worth individual market, that's growing as well. And then you have healthcare. These are the sectors that are growing. But unfortunately, these are also the same sectors that are letting people go. So net, people are worried because there's a lot of retrenchments, there's a lot of job losses. But net, there's actually job growth in the sense that more people are being hired, but unfortunately, they're being hired for different roles. So I like to look at the market as like the same way you prune a bonsai tree. You want it to grow in this particular shape because that's what people want it to be. And therefore, you got to snip off sometimes even the healthy branches just to shape it. But in the meantime, you want to nourish it into another direction. So we see companies wanting to hire people, but fire people at the same time. Example, like the banks. They are letting bank tellers go because, heck, when was the last time you went to a bank branch?
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. So as a result, they let people go, but they're hiring the tech guys, they're hiring people who are better with the relationship management. So we are seeing both growth of jobs and jobs being let go. So to answer your question, many sectors are growing and letting people go at the same time. So that's a very tough question to answer.
But I love that because it's a great setup for my next question, actually, which is that dives a little bit deeper. Now, if everything is net in that sense, right, that we're equal, that people are being let go at the same time being hired, then it's got to be a skill and competency issue that we're trying to fill now. Yeah. So what's the skill gap that we're actually seeing?
Therein lies the problem as well, because it's near impossible to name certain skills. I mean, other people will say, people management skills, AI skills, but I think these are very generic. It's like you ask a stockbroker, what's the strategy for getting rich? And he says, you buy low, you sell high. It's two generic answers. What I believe is that in your particular field that you are in, what are the skills that are rare? Okay, and what are the skills that are relevant? Because if you have a skill that's generic, or not relevant to what the market wants, the demand for your capability drops, and as a result, you're at risk. So in order to determine what sort of skills, you need to look at your own market and understand what your market desires, whether it's rare, whether it's relevant, and also whether you're really good at it. Because I may have a skill. Do you know that I speak French? Do you know that I speak Spanish?
Oh, you do?
Yeah. Hola, adios, más cerveza, por favor. It's more beer, please. That's all. That's all I know. But I can tell people, I speak Spanish, but I got that skill, but it's not deep, right? It's not valued in the market. What sort of skills? Specialized skills that are in need by your market, in your segment, and not just one skill. The trick now is to stack your skills. So for instance, if I'm good at negotiations, then fine. But I'm also very knowledgeable in this particular segment of the market in Indonesia. for this particular product line. So I'm stacking and stacking and stacking the skills so that I become very unique, a very oddly but valuable shaped capability or individual in my organization. Therefore, the demand is going to be there for me. So what I'm saying is this: whatever the skills are, make sure that they're rare, they're relevant, and you're really good at it, and you stack each of these ones to form a supply of capabilities that the market wants.
I see. And on the flip side of that, employers could actually use AI to generate that kind of archetype or skill sets and develop that JD lah.
And that's where
but that's quite dangerous, right?
Yeah, that's it. It gets interesting because AI doesn't know everything yet. Because AI gives you generic answers. Okay, that's why you have to leverage. And I'm talking to our listeners out there who are in their mid-career. You know, you have 10, 15, maybe 20 years of experience in the field. Therefore, you should understand better than an AI where the demand is coming from if you open your eyes and if you pay attention close enough. So, for instance, if you are in an organization that's in, say, in supply chain, and companies are moving from third-party logistics, meaning that I'm company A and I hire a logistics company to handle all the logistics for me. That's third-party logistics. But we are seeing a trend for 4PL.
And even 5PL.
And even 5PL, right? So how then do you, based on that knowledge, how do I engineer myself into that? What are the skill sets needed? So it has to be very self-driven. And one of the other things which I'm going to be very unpopular for saying this is that skills future courses are sometimes overrated.
Well, I think they said that in Parliament recently,
yeah,
right?
But to the point where, you know, people collect certificates and they go, yes, sure, I speak Spanish now, right? But if you don't pair it with real-world experience, failures, experimentation, you know, if you don't chalk up experience points, your skill just remains textbook.
That is true. And the skills is lost as well.
And it's lost.
Yeah.
You know, it's example. Last year, I took up a course on Power BI. It's a one-day course. Man, I learned so much, and a week later, I forgot everything because I didn't put it into practice.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely useless to me now. I load it up and go like, oh, shucks, where was the button? How do I do this, right?
Correct.
So it's not just the skills that's needed, but how do you pair it up with experience? And that's where, if you ask me, that's what employers are looking for. Actually, not just the skills you're good at, which are rare, which are relevant, and you're really good at it, but have you applied it into the context which I need? And if you have had that experience, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm paying for. So one of the biggest challenges right now is not so much that how do fresh graduates land jobs? That's another conversation for another time, right? My practice as a career strategist for senior folks, we handle more of the mid-career senior folks who are in their 35 to 45 and beyond. As I said earlier, the companies who are retrenching and hiring, you know, it's easy to say, oh, go join those companies lah. But the entry level to those companies are very tough. For instance, the semiconductors, how do you jump into semicon when you're 40, right? Technical roles, how do you jump into health science? Right? Unless you want to start right at the bottom. Therefore, the thing is, you have to see what sort of experiences that you have, or if you lack, then how do I fill that gap? And where is the market going from? So ultimately, it's all about supply and demand. And that could be tricky, but you really need to look at the market and see down the road, is there going to be a demand for my experience? If there isn't, then I'm in trouble. How do I fix it? Yeah.
Okay.
So in terms of skills, it's important, but I think skills is overrated. I think experience, even negative experience where you try and you fail twice and then you made it again, I think that's even more important than just certificates.
True. And for the employer's point of view, right, if let's say, for example, we needed to maybe first, second round of hires, and I think this is very useful to make sure that we can filter them out with real world experience and is relevant to and current, I think, to the demands of what our business requires, right? Yeah. How do you think that employers could actually kind of streamline this process of that filtration? I feel like after going through hundreds of CVs, you're like, okay, how do I even know whether this is real now? How do I even know if this person is of that level of competency, right? Because again, we can say that it's professional competency.
Everyone says they're an expert, right?
Yeah,
Everyone's
exactly.
Good at it,
Everybody's an expert, everybody's a guru in
yes,
that sense,
correct.
right?
In today's internet world, everyone's which reminds me, especially with AI, right? You can learn things so quickly. It reminds me, I was just watching The Matrix again, and how Neo just goes downloads the stuff and he goes, I know Kung Fu.
Yeah.
Right? So nowadays, you just need to spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes on YouTube and suddenly you're the expert on call options. Okay, so that's it. I think that's where the third currency, which is based on the book which I'm writing about, which we are writing on, is called your 7 Career Currencies. The first is your skill. The second is your experience. The third career currency, which is your reputation in a market, is very important. If you have been performing well in a particular area, zone, industry, your reputation should be there. Edric, he's the guy to talk to when it comes to podcasts. Build a reputation. And I think selection processes now are going beyond just CVs. They want to know, have I heard of this guy? Have I seen this guy? And then you hop onto the guy's LinkedIn page and you see, he's published some interesting stuff. He's written, he's commented. He seems to have built a good reputation for himself in this space. The flip side to it is somebody destroys his own reputation online. True story. I know this very senior communications PR comms director, American company, okay, Singaporean. He has been writing anti-Trump posts for the past year and a half, 2 years. This guy has severe case of Trump derangement syndrome, okay? To the point where when he got retrenched and he was hired, he was looking for a job, all companies didn't want to touch him because he's a PR guy damaging his own PR, his own reputation. And one of my friends who was a HR VP for an American company said, I wouldn't hire him because if we have a conference in Seattle, I don't know whether he's going to get through customs if they go through his post. So once again, the reputation is important. Not just what's on your CV. We need to go beyond the CV, your reputation. And the fourth currency we look at is your networks as well. So when we have clients looking for roles, especially if they're mid-career, senior level folks, it's not just about your skills, your experience, the reputation, but the networks. Because right now, 80% of jobs are landed through networking. Who do you know? Who knows you? Can someone vouch for you? Can someone sponsor you? So that's why it's really important for job hunters, job seekers to take a step back and see what's the big picture. It's not just a CV.
Right. Okay, and then let's just say, for example, because you and I are, we run our own little outfits as well, right? So if let's say you could give me some advice, if I needed to hire, and what skill sets would I need to have in order for me to kind of, work through the fluff, see through the fog, and really get my best hire possible?
Yeah. I'm a big advocate of try before you buy, actually. Let the person, because we have the flexibility of trying out the person to see if I need a digital marketing guy, right? And I would say, okay, show me your previous experiences first, okay? I think giving them small assignments to try on a site to see whether or not you actually like them, whether they make sense. I think that's really important.
So give them a part-time role first, is it?
Yeah, or just give them a project or two on the site, because I believe in trying before you buy. As a seasoned headhunter, I've seen too many placements where the guy comes on board and is like the chosen one for the company.
Yeah.
Right? He's like, he's gonna bring it. Then he just crashes and burns. Okay, quick example. I was on the board for the Singapore Cancer Society for 7 years. And how did I get that role, that gig? I volunteered for a year or two before they realized, hey, actually, Adrian's pretty good for this role. And ultimately, I was offered a board position there. See, this was way back when. But the point is, try before you buy. Volunteer, say, hey, do you need any help with this? I could help you out with that. And then you build a relationship. So for me as an employer, I would say, let me see what you've done before. Let me see if we can work together. And let's see where it goes.
I think that's very wise because, like what you said, I myself also sometimes when I'm looking for people to help me on a certain team or a certain project, right? I keep thinking, okay, I should go back to someone who I'm familiar with, or I should go back to a certain skill set that I'm used to, in that sense, someone that fits my system. For me, it's like I want to give somebody an opportunity to go long, a long time with me. But the try before you buy means that I have expectation for them to already fail. But you're in that sense, it's also good because that gives you, that manages the expectation that there is a possibility that this person is going to fail. You have to be realistic about that.
Yeah. Either way, because even if you hire the person right off the bat, full-time employment, there's also the risk that it's going to fail. So I think the try before you buy is something that you could do. But once again, if the person already has a reputation, like, if I need someone to manage my podcasts, right? Or if I need someone who can drive the revenues or drive the eyeballs and everything, I would engage your company's services straight away because I've seen the amazing work that you've done, right? So the risk is reduced if you follow this, and I think more companies are looking at that now.
It's really nice to hear from our fellow podcasters. And when we spoke to them, I still remember saying business is about managing risk.
Yes.
And I thought that was very profound in itself as a one-liner because it is true. If we look at it just purely as managing risk, when we are hiring, what is the risk? Risk is loss of money, time, and one of the things that I'm still trying to get over is the emotional risk.
Oh, yeah.
So that's one of the things that probably first or second time hirers will also have to go through. It's almost like dating, it's heartbreak.
Yeah, correct, right? That's why you try to date the person as much as you can before you jump and marry the person, right? So it's not like in Frozen where you just true love's first kiss and then you marry the person, right? But in real life, coming from an experienced headhunter, there are so many variables in play. Therefore, especially if you are looking for a job, I think it's important that you develop your reputation, your networks, and everything that comes into play even before you look at the CV. CVs, as I said earlier, I believe are overrated. Why do I say that? What's more important is your LinkedIn profile. Because more people look at your LinkedIn profile than they look at your CV. And if your LinkedIn profile sucks or tells a wrong story or messages wrongly, no one's even going to ask you for your CV. So I would recommend, if for job hunters out there or career switchers, look at your messaging and the quality of your LinkedIn page and your LinkedIn game. That's way more important.
Interesting. So then that kind of sums it all up, really, in the next question that I have for you, which is about the future of hiring and, of course, the kind of career development that is going to be required. I mean, right now the government's always pushing, like what we said, go and get some skills, use skills future. I think
AI, skilled in AI.
Correct. And learn how to use TikTok. This is called transition. Okay, fair enough. Okay, whatever. Sorry, I'm totally. It upsets me to the core.
I join the club. I'm not a TikTok guy.
Yeah, but the thing is, because I understand that they want to introduce it to seniors, they want to make it simple, very easy. But the problem I felt is that, okay, there were many companies that jumped onto that and it was pretty good revenue, I think, for them. But does it really hold value for those who are actually there to really up their skills? I don't know. Maybe they signed up for the wrong thing. But that kind of leads me to the next point, which is, what is the future of career development moving forward? It can't always just be about skills future and, taking a generic AI course of this is the prompt bar and that's how you type it in.
Exactly. No, when the government or someone who you respect in high places tells you, you must succeed in the future, you must learn AI. The question is, what does learn AI mean? What do I learn coding? Do I learn machine language? Do I learn all the MCPs and all the LLMs and all the three-letter things, right? Or do I learn prompt engineering? And we all know prompt engineering is dead because you don't even need to prompt anymore. You just speak to the model and it'll solve it for you.
Yep.
So to me, learning AI is like what I said earlier, buy low, sell high. It's such a generic piece of information. And the first thing people go like, oh, but I know AI already. What do you mean? You don't know. What do I mean? What do you mean? Oh, I know how to use ChatGPT. That is so basic, Right now, by the way, I've been using ChatGPT for the past 2.5, 3 years. I'm actually migrating to Claude now because Claude's so much more intelligent, even though ChatGPT knows me inside out, right? I'm slowly divorcing ChatGPT to go into Claude because Claude integrates itself now into your Excel spreadsheets, into your PowerPoint slide decks, and very soon into your Microsoft Word. You use AI not as an AI, not as a super-powered Google, right? You use it as an assistant, almost like what I call your Jarvis. Iron Man is Jarvis, right? Jarvis, do this. Jarvis, buy that building, right? Jarvis. If you approach AI as this is going to be my personal butler, okay, my personal intern, my personal assistant, and you incorporate. So I was playing with Claude's built-in functionality to Excel spreadsheet. It's amazing. I just had a simple expense. I just set up a spreadsheet and I said, okay, improve on this. Bam, 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 bam. It was so professionally done.
Yeah.
Colors and all, formulas, charts and everything. And I said to myself, oh man, if a fresh graduate doesn't even know how to do this, they're dead.
You can even take a screenshot of the thing and just throw it in, and it will actually pull out all the data for you and regenerate it. This is unheard of, right? Because last time you could not mix graphics with text, and now on the other hand, it's reading.
It's all integrated. See, so to the point where people are asking, is AI stealing jobs?
No, it's not.
And it's not stealing jobs. To me, there is a great reshuffle. And this great reshuffle of older people, mid-career people being reshuffled, being displaced by younger ones, has been going on for the longest time. So we are not being displaced by AI. The problem is right now, because the market is what it is, business costs are high, petrol costs are high, everything is expensive. We are asked to do more with less. And the person who can do more with less will keep his job. And how do you do more with less? You use technology, you use tools. Whether or not it's AI, whether or not it's an app, whether or not it's a new skill that you learn, or whether or not it's just learning how to manage other people. If you can do more with less, then I say that you're in a safer spot. And this has been true since the days when we started work way back when, right? Way back when I was yay high. It's been there since the 80s, the 90s, I still remember when I first started my job in Shell. In the mid-90s.
Pumping petrol.
Leaded, unleaded, sir. Yes, okay. Please stop smoking there. Okay. I remember my boss, he was an old guy of 50. Okay, because when you're fresh grad, 50-year-old guy is old, right?
Yeah.
That means I'm super senior now. But that old guy, he didn't know how to use Excel spreadsheets. And he said, spreadsheets are useless. I said, why, And he said, no, because I've got young punks like you, young farts like you to do it for me. So I think...
You were his Jarvis,
I was his Jarvis, you see. So, which was good learning for me, right? But the point is, when you're asked to do more with less, you have to leverage technology. It just so happens that right now the technology is called AI.
Yeah.
And AI tools.
And that's why I actually have... I wouldn't say a fear, but I do have concerns about the AI era because I don't know what the future of the workforce is going to be. If you think about it, back then we grew up into the technology, and some of us with the technology, right? Or saw that change.
Yeah.
We grew up with it and saw it evolve. In this new generation, let's say, for example, the next generation of the workforce that comes in, they've grown up not so much with the technology, but they're just growing at a pace where the AI keeps evolving with them. And what does that mean for them in terms of the skills that they are going to have and what they're going to lack? It's completely polarizing from what we have.
Yes, correct. And you brought up a good point because therefore, then how do you distinguish, how does a mid-career person, okay, like you and I, how do we beat an AI native young fresh guy? I mean, this person doesn't even know that AI is AI because he grew up with AI. Fun story, I remember when my daughter was 3-4 years old. That was a long time back, okay? She went up to my big TV screen And she started touching the screen to change channel. And I said, what? Why are you doing? He said, I'm changing channel, Daddy. And to them, every screen is a touch screen. You see, because they're native in that way, right? So, and I was laughing. I said, yeah, someday it might be, but not today, right? But the point is, how do we mid-career folks or senior folks beat the younger folks at the AI game? And the answer is simple. Okay, it's straightforward. I won't say it's simple. It's not simple, but straightforward. How do we beat the younger folks at the AI game? We know what good looks like. They don't know yet. For instance, you give them a project. You say, go and do research on this ABC, right? They key in into the prompt. They get the data. They put it out into a spreadsheet or they put it out into a PowerPoint slide. Everything's all generated. We look at it and we go, that's garbage. And it happens all the time. When you see AI coming up, it's like, this garbage. Because we know what good looks like.
Right.
We know how to tell the story. We know what the market context is. So we know what good looks like. And I think that's our advantage, our edge over the younger ones. And unfortunately, it's the way it is for now only. They will catch up, right? But for now, we know what best practices look like. We know what truth-telling looks like. We know what good storytelling looks like. But they don't know yet. So right now, the edge that we have is that when we take on AI skills, when we know how to use AI apps and functionality, we're able to marry our experience with the technology and maintain that edge for now.
Okay, interesting. For the senior leaders out there who are listening, some of them, again, we're not AI natives. So what tips would you have for them to go, I got to get my elbows into it. Yeah. Where should I start?
I think understanding the approach to using AI. Okay, it's not just a super powered Google search. As I said earlier, approach it the same way you would have an intern do your work or an assistant. So the moment you have a question or when you're doing your work and you go like, damn, I wish my intern could do this for me. If I got my whole email box is full of stuff, but I only want to know what's the timeline for this particular project. And then you tell yourself, it's such a waste of time, I'm going to do it. If only I had an intern. And the moment you have that idea of, if only I had an intern, you simply just push it to ChatGPT or you push it to Claude or whoever it is to run. So in other words, what I'm saying is this, you have to start thinking natively that there's an AI solution out there to help you. So It's not just about using ChatGPT to come up with questions or to improve your writing, but to improve your productivity. And if there's no ChatGPT or Claude functionality that can do that, then you ask yourself, can I incorporate? Can I build something? Can I set something up? Can I set up agents? And if you don't know how to do it, ask. Fun story. So I'm developing a software for my CTO to run, to develop. It's a career simulation. Normally, it takes me 2 months just to sit down with him and to hammer out the basics. And then he will take another 1 month to come up with a MVP, a minimally viable product. And then we're going to reiterate and everything, right? I wanted to use Claude to do it. And I just asked Claude, I want to do this. How do I do it? Please advise me step by step. In one afternoon, I had MVP out. Claude did the code, the parameters for me, the programming. And it looks so well done, but I know I'm ashamed to say and I'm embarrassed to say how easy it was to actually put it together. Now, is that the final product? Answer is no, but it saved me 2 months. So for senior folks out there, look at AI apps solutions as your right arm. Basically, instead of doing this, can I get someone else? Can I get her or him to do it for me? And if you can't figure out how to do it, ask.
Yeah, nice. And it's one of those, and the great thing about AI has no feeling, so you can verbally abuse it as well.
For now, until they take over the world.
Until they take over and they'll remember you.
Edric, I remember the last time you scored at me.
Do you remember in 2023 when you called me? I remember you.
Yeah, hasta la vista, baby.
That's right. Okay. So before we close out the podcast, I have a quick questionnaire for you.
Sure.
Rapid fire style. Are you ready, sir?
Go for it.
Okay. Question number 1. One word you love.
Sleep.
One word that you strongly dislike.
AI will solve all your problems.
Okay. What sparks joy in the work that you do?
Being able to help people to get career clarity and, see the life improves after they have discussions with me.
What is your routine like for peak performance daily?
Very strict discipline with respect to my afternoon naps because I need to recharge for the next day ahead. So, yes, afternoon naps.
What do you do when negativity or sadness hits you?
I put on my headphones and I listen to 10,000 Maniacs. Yes, and I've got a couple of theme songs in there which I listen to and charge myself up. And it's a very Alec McBeal thing. And for those people who do not know who Alec McBeal is, you're not of my ilk. In terms of age group, yes.
Okay, I will not talk to you about dancing babies. Okay, if you could have a conversation with one person, fictional, non-fictional, dead or alive, who would that be?
That's a good question. I'm going to talk to Elon Musk because I'm going to ask him one question. Are you an alien? Or are you a time traveler? And that's all I want to know.
Okay, tinfoil hats, let's go! All right, what's a phrase or quote that has left the biggest impact on you?
For me, the philosophy that we have a sense of agency, that we are in control of our destiny, that we can change outcomes. Because the day that we believe or stop believing that we have an agency, a sense of agency, that the day we stop believing that we are in control, is the day we start getting into a spiral of helplessness, into defeat. So in any situation that you're in or that I'm in, I ask myself a question: how do I get myself out of it? How do I stop blaming other people? How do I stop blaming the situation? How do I recognize what I can control, what I can't control? And I figure out how to control the things I can and start taking action. In other words, GOYA, get off your ass.
What's a harsh lesson that life has taught you?
Wow, thankfully there have not been many. Harsh lesson? I think, for me, it's called take care of yourself. Take care of yourself when you're younger. Youth is wasted on the young, as Bernard Shaw actually said. So take care of your health. Fun fact, whenever I see my kids opening up packets of food with their teeth, and I tell them, don't do that. Look after yourself. That 40-year-old you is going to tell you your teeth are important. Don't abuse your teeth when you're young, right? So likewise, take good care of yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally, because life is a long game.
What happens to your business or work after you have moved on from this plane?
Hopefully I would have taught a lot of people how to manage their careers, and hopefully the books that I've left behind, that I've written, the 200 over podcasts that I've done would serve as a repository of knowledge and wisdom. Hopefully it lasts beyond, the relevance is lasts way beyond me going off. And my ideal, in fact, the reason why I do so many podcasts and write so many books and so much is out there is I like to leave it like, Superman and his Fortress of Solitude, right? His father, Jor-El, left all that knowledge and wisdom for him to go back and collect on whenever he needs it. In a way, I leave it as a temple of knowledge and wisdom for my kids to come and visit when they are old enough. So when I'm gone, I hope to leave an impact on those people who matter to me. And that's my definition of legacy, to matter to the people who matter to you.
Well, that actually ties in perfectly, or it really answers the next question, which is, how do you want to be remembered? What's your legacy?
Yeah. To as I said earlier, to matter to the people who matter. I mean, too many people try to matter to people who don't matter. And what's the point? They're going to forget you after all. So, and who matters to you most? Your family, your loved ones. So it's no point being remembered hoping to be remembered by your bosses. It's not going to happen, but your family's going to remember. Famous saying, at your funeral, the only people who are going to remember how hard you worked, how long you stayed at the office, it's going to be your family, not your bosses. So
Very
There you
true.
go.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard from Adrian Choo, the career strategist. So, thanks so much, Adrian, for joining us on the podcast. Now, this camera is yours. Feel free to just let them know how they can get in touch with you and what's happening.
Well, if you have a career crisis or if you're facing a career conundrum, come reach out to me. My name is Adrian, and I'm the CEO and founder of Career Agility International. And tune into our podcast. It's called The Career Strategists on Spotify. Or just drop me an email at info@careeragility.org. In the meantime, just keep calm and career on.
That's been another episode of the Epic Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, we'll see you in the next episode. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.